CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Right now on the afternoon edition, major weather warnings with a wet and windy storm on the way. King tides and coastal flooding already leading to some dramatic images of waterlogged roads and parking lots across the Bay Area. We are tracking it all. Thanks for joining us this Friday, and we begin with a live look across the Bay. Dry now as far as rain, but increase in clouds are a sign of what is to come. Another atmospheric river moving in, this one bringing a chance of thunderstorms and some very gusty winds. Our meteorologist Jessica Birch has a look at what's ahead and those king tides already causing problems.
It's like we're swimming in water, right? Because the tides are starting to rise. And then on top of that, we're also dealing with rain from above. This morning was actually pretty nice with a little bit of a break from the showers. But here we go into the afternoon hours. Look at this big band of showers sweeping all across the Bay Area. This time a lot more intense. And by the way, this is going to play on repeat throughout the next 24 hours. A lot more intense compared to where we were at just this morning. Now, as we wake up and head out the door, of course, calm conditions in the forecast for us, and that's the case into the afternoon hours. But just around 4, 5, 6 o'clock, that's when we're starting to see a chance of thunderstorm activity, strong winds returning to the Bay. And of course, just like what Ann mentioned, those coastal flood advisories are still in effect right now until Sunday. So we could see some issues there, especially in those low-lying areas with ponding and localized flooding, on top of the fact that now the rain is going to start returning into the evening hours tonight, with daytime highs today only sitting in the 60s and the 50s. So after a chilly start right now, it is dry out there, but the showers are starting to roll back in just within the next 5-6 hours. And I'm going to time that out for you coming up on Futurecast in just a bit. But for now, back to you.
All right, and we are getting some new pictures in right now talking about that coastal flooding. It is hitting the North Bay very hard. We have some live pictures from our chopper right now that is above Redwood High School in Larkspur. You can see those roadways there are flooded out, and a lot of that water heading toward the building, toward the school there, Redwood High School. And this is due to those king tides we've been talking about. So a lot of this water coming from the ocean and then this nearby creek. And then, of course, we have the rain coming later today. So live pictures right now from Chopper 5 above Larkspur. We also, just about a half an hour ago, got in some pictures also from Chopper 5. This was in Corte Madera. I believe we have those pictures from outside the San Francisco Fitness Gym. Lot of flooding there as well. High water right up into the entrance. Up there, we can see that now. Okay, I believe this is live from our chopper. This is live from our chopper. Okay. So this is all in Marin County. The flooding really getting quite out of control there right now. And these are pictures as well in just from the last hour that we have been seeing. Corte Madera, also Larkspur being hit right now with that combo of high tides. Then we have rising creeks and rivers, and you can see these roadways flooded. We've got cars that are trapped, and some people there in the back of the vehicle just waiting to see what is next, because obviously they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Let's go to Kevin Coe because he is in the North Bay right now. I believe Manzanita Park and Ride, a place that often floods, but this is getting more serious than normal.
Well, and we would be at the park and ride for you, but we can't get there because it is completely submerged underwater. There's no way to get in there. Luckily, the exit ramp out there is still open and able for drivers to be able to get out. Where I currently am, we're about 100 yards away from Coyote Creek. State Route 1 is right next to me, but you may be able to see 101 crossing over right there. But you also see most of State Route 1. It is completely flooded right now. Caltrans has been here, CHP, they just left the scene, and these water levels, we have been watching them rise throughout the morning and into this afternoon.
Yeah, this is a first in my 15 years.
David Gunderson has been parking in this same lot since 2010. This area of Mill Valley, nestled by Coyote Creek, is no stranger to flooding during high tides. But the National Weather Service says flooding above ground level could reach up to 2.5 feet. Forecasters say that's similar to some of the higher tide flooding the Bay Area saw during strong El Nino years in the late 1990s.
Our parking lot never floods. And the last, week, it's happened a couple of times. This is the biggest one I've ever seen. It was lapping my shoes up over the side of our curb. So usually we walk out, take a little look at the thing and go, wow, that's glad I got here first. Today we're part of it.
The concern tonight is the expected rainfall, bringing another potential storm of issues for drivers and property owners. Friday morning started off dry. Here's how the Manzanita Park and Ride off Highway 1 looked like at about 8 a.m. After about an hour, flood levels rose to the point where it wasn't even possible to drive into the lot. Crews began shutting down most lanes on State Route 1 as officials warned drivers that more closures could be on the way. Drivers are urged not to drive around barricades or through a flooded area where it's hard to tell how deep the water goes. Doing so can cause even more issues, something David is well aware of.
It's not in our engines, so rather than drive our engines through it, we're just going to let it recede. Our tires are going to be wet, and that'll be it.
Anyone living in a flood-prone area should take the necessary steps to protect their property as well. This coastal flood warning, it's in effect until tomorrow morning, as of course we continue to track the expected rain coming later tonight.
All right, yeah, what a mess. Kevin Coe live for us in the North Bay. Let's go back to our chopper that is right now over the SF Fitness Gym in Corte Madera. I mean, check that out. It looks like they're trying to protect their entrance right now, but I'm sure some of that water has already gotten in. People just trying to wade through it. I mean, that man with the bucket there, it seems like that's an impossible task because that water is already inundating that entire entrance to the building as well as the roadways outside. And it sounds like there's another couple of hours for these king tides to continue to swell and work their way inland. And that is, of course, before the rain comes. You can see that man slogging there through that intersection. But we've been getting the warnings from authorities of how quickly this water can rise. And if you can't tell how deep it is, do not try to drive through something like that. It's easier when you see a human there. It looks like it's pretty much up to his knees. But then those vehicles that we saw closer to the entrance, they were partially submerged as well with that water about halfway up to their tires. So this guy's making a go of it because otherwise you're basically trapped in that gym. Oh, careful there. Because the water is coming in and there's only one way out, and it's right through this flooding. So this is along the border of Larkspur and Corte Madera in Redwood City, in Marin County. Redwood High School is nearby as well. So we have several businesses impacted, as well as the high school and some homes as well, where that flooded water just continues to creep. Kevin talked about how quickly it can happen. I mean, there was one point this morning where everything was all dry at, say the Manzanita Park and Ride, and in this area as well. And then within about an hour, it gets so deep that you're not even able to drive through it. And as we saw that man walking, that water was just about up to his knees. And block after block of this, as we continue to watch these live chopper pictures come in this afternoon. There we have some homes that have been impacted, that wall obviously not going to do much to protect them once that water seeps in through the sides, and it looks like it's coming in on the other side as well of those homes. So really no way to get around it. We've heard the warnings, but also that this flooding was going to be at historic levels, talking about king tides that we haven't seen since the 1990s, and there was tons of flooding during that period as well. So if we're comparing it to that, we could be in for a bit of a long road here when it comes to waiting for these king tides to recede. Of course, once they do, the water usually goes back down just as quickly as it came up. But then we do have these storms coming in later today. So I believe that is Redwood High School there in the background. So school's out. That's the good news when it comes to people not having to try to navigate in and out of this area. But yeah, this wider shot from Chopper 5, you can see just how that water came through the bay, a creek. I actually don't even know if that was a creek. It might have just become a creek, but now we've got people kayaking through what is now a waterway, but no, there's cars there. So this was a roadway right before that turned into what you're seeing right now, that person kayaking down a makeshift river that really popped up over a matter of an hour or two with these king tides flooding some of the creeks. Again, we do see this in these low-lying areas of the North Bay, but this is a pretty extreme situation, and we did expect that to happen with these king tides, of course, caused by the alignment of the moon and the sun and the earth. But it's difficult to tell exactly how it's going to play out. I know our forecasters have been working on that, but we've been talking about the possibility of water rising 2.5 feet above flood level in some of these North Bay spots. And again, yeah, it's another waterway that used to be a roadway. You can see vehicles stuck there. The hope, I'm sure, is that this is going to recede soon at some point this afternoon and not cause too much damage. But it's certainly looking at several inches of flooding in several homes and businesses there. We could see 101 there on the right-hand side of your screen. It's just out of view right now. Things are still moving there. Good news, no traffic impacts. But Kevin was talking about Highway 1 being closed down, State Route 1, because of this flooding. And it just happened very quickly, as does happen with king tides, but certainly caught some people by surprise there. Some of the people that we heard from this morning say, you know, they've seen flooding, but nothing to this level where it's lapping at their shoes and they're standing on the curb. So this is something that they're going to be cleaning up for some time in the North Bay once these king tides recede. But looking at live pictures right now, we're going between Larkspur and Corte Madera, chopper kind of hanging around the border of those two Marin County towns right now. And there you can see a garage, a car sitting there. Just various levels of depth depending on how low-lying these areas are, but they are, a lot of them, below sea level, and you can see what happens when you have buildings that are at that low level. Here, zooming in on a white car there, you can see its tires are basically submerged. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on this afternoon. Stay with us as we continue to track these storms and the king tides, which at this point appear to be the more consequential aspect of this flooding. We're going to have updates on air on the free CBS News app and on our website, kpix.com. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, ahead of a wind advisory this afternoon. High winds already impacting flights arriving at SFO. We have the latest ahead of Jessica Birch's weather forecast. And tomorrow, well, the Niners are going to fight for their top spot in their conference. A look at the team defined by resilience, despite being riddled with injuries in our Red and Gold reports. And a new era of the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel begins Monday right here in the Bay Area. He's a familiar face. He's been helping us wake up on CBS mornings for years. Now he's taken the reins of the CBS Evening News. So join us as Tony launches his Live from America tour, because his first stop is in San Francisco, happening Monday night, starting at 6:30. All right, let's take another live look outside before we head to break. This is in Marin County, around the border of Larkspur and Corte Madera. Massive amounts of flooding because of king tides. You can see a guy there using a kayak to get around on what was once a roadway and will be again. But these tides really came up quickly. Again, we're going to continue our coverage when we come back. All right, back to our first alert weather. Taking a live look at SFO, where there are delays right now because of the wind. It's going to get worse. The airport says arriving flights are delayed by nearly 2 hours, and we are less than an hour from an official wind advisory going into effect. Unfortunately, I have a flight for this evening, so we'll see how that goes. Meantime, let's go back to our live chopper picks over the North Bay, where there is significant flooding from king tides. This is the border of Larkspur and Corte Madera. It is totally flooded out. There are vehicles stuck in the floodwaters. People are kayaking through the streets. This is caused by Corte Madera Creek overflowing because of the king tides, all connected to the bay water. You can see that Big 5 sporting goods store there. It is right up to the doorway and likely heading on inside. We've seen several businesses dealing with that, including a gym. Oh, here's a vehicle trying to go through it. Good luck to this person.
And that's a big concern right now.
I know. I do want to keep watching this, actually. Let's keep these live pictures up. But Jessica Birch joining us to talk about, I mean, is this unexpected? I know we were warning people about these king tides and saying they could be as bad as we saw in the 90s. But, I mean, check that out. This vehicle just, leaving wake for a kayaker. This really looks surreal.
She looks like she's having fun. Reality is, though, I mean, the footage and the imagery coming out of these communities, these low-lying areas impacted by the king tides, they know this drill because we dealt with king tides just a few weeks ago with high tides all throughout these similar communities, but this is a little bit worse. And then you factor in the rain that we've been getting this whole week since we've rung in the new year. Reality is it feels like we're swimming in water. And I said that earlier as a joke, but you see these live looks. These people are potentially risking their lives in certain communities as the rain continues to fall. There's slick surfaces out there on the roads. The flooding can get worse, too, as we head into this weekend's forecast. And I just want to remind people of that, too.
Whoa, he made it.
Okay, but yeah.
I think that emergency worker is going to have some words for that person for having gone through floodwaters like that, because it is dangerous, as you said, Jess.
It is dangerous. So let's actually take a quick look at the map real fast. I want to show you a couple things going on. Flood advisories as we head into this weekend's forecast, widespread throughout the Bay Area. And to add to that, actually, let's just drop that map. I want to show you the National Weather Service first. It looks like a coloring book below me. Really, what I want to show you, though, is that light green is coastal flood advisories in the dark green, and then, of course, wind advisories all throughout the Bay Area as the storms are about to get a lot more intense into the next 24 hours. We caught a nice break today, a great break, actually, to the point where you could go grab coffee, catch a breath of fresh air over in our local parks. It's dry right now, but it's going to look a lot different into the next 24 hours as strong winds are starting to whip up to around 40 to 50 miles per hour. And then on top of that, now we're not only talking about rain, but thunderstorm activity around the corner as we head into the evening hours tonight. Hard to believe when that first alert Doppler is as dry as it is right now, but take a look at the timeline of this. Just around 4, 5, 6 o'clock, some of those more severe storms start to sweep in from offshore. Moderate to heavy showers expected at times into that 7 o'clock hour. And that same storm system makes its way up into the Sierra, bringing in heavy snow for them as we head into this weekend's forecast. So if you were thinking of heading up to Tahoe this weekend, they're under a winter storm warning right now, and you're also going to be chased by all these severe storms pushing across the Sacramento Valley, too, heading into Saturday and Sunday. Don't get me wrong, you can see there's breaks at times, but the rain continues as we head into next week as well. About 2 to 4 inches expected throughout the state of California from that exact system. So we are dealing with gusty winds. We'll have more on that coming up in a bit. Like I said, up to around 40 to 50 mile per hour winds right around the corner. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jess. Let's go back to our chopper picks because we don't know what kind of adventures we are going to find in the North Bay when you have flooding like this because of the king tides. We've seen people kayaking through the streets, people wading up to their knees, and vehicles trying to make it through these roadways, which is not advised in most circumstances. A lot of vehicles just trapped right now. Obviously, there's nowhere else they could go. We are going to keep an eye on this and be right back. All right, some breaking news now. We just got word it is confirmed that a woman who was found dead early New Year's Day at San Francisco's Fairmont Hotel is the daughter of Oscar-winning actor Tommy Lee Jones. The city's chief medical examiner just confirmed the identity as Victoria Jones. San Francisco Fire says she was 34 years old, found in a hallway of the building just after 11 a.m. No foul play is suspected. Tommy Lee Jones is best known for his roles in films like The Fugitive, for which he won an Oscar, and the Men in Black franchise. We've reached out to his agents for comment. All right, we're going to take another look at the flooding happening across the North Bay because of king tides ahead of thunderstorms tonight. It is historic flooding. We'll be right back. All right, back to our live pictures from our chopper in the North Bay above Marin County, where there is significant flooding right now because of king tides pouring into the Corte Madera Creek and flooding the roadways there. This is along the border of Larkspur and Corte Madera. Several businesses trying to keep that water out of their front doors as well as homes and vehicles right now stranded in that flooding. So these are low-lying areas. It's not a shocker that they are seeing these king tides affecting things, but the levels are pretty high and expected to get up to 2.5 feet later on this afternoon. We're going to keep you posted 24/7 here on the free CBS News app and the latest on our website, kpix.com.